My girlfriend made a new best friend at her job and went on a date without telling me, and even though I'm sure she didn't chest it on me, I'm now feeling insecure of her leaving me. My GF, 25 female, and I, 26 male, had been together for 3 years. We don't live together, but we are planning to move together soon. And recently, about 6 months ago, she got her first real job, and in there she met this guy. In the beginning of their relationship, my GF thought that the guy was flirting with her, and she even told me and asked me for advice. Then she told the guy she had a boyfriend and he was cool with it, so they stayed just as friends. Fast forward a month or so and he invites her for dinner out of town, and she accepted without telling me. She didn't answer her phone all that afternoon, and she got to her home around 10 or 11 p.m. and she was kinda drunk. She called me and told me about the date thing and apologized for not telling me earlier. She told me it was only a friend date, and I was very direct and asked if something happened between them, and she told me they didn't kiss nor anything. And TBH, I believe her. I know she wouldn't cheat on me. The problem is that now I'm very insecure about her talking to him, or any interaction with him, even though I trust her. My problem is that I'm afraid she will leave me for that guy, because I had seen them talk and they have a lot of chemistry, and she has told things to him that she has never told me. I'm afraid she will leave me, even though I know she loves me. I'm been dumb? What can I do? Note, I'm aware this can be a problem of low self-esteem, but I can't afford a therapist, so I'm asking for advice of what else could I do to not feel jealousy. My 26 female boyfriend, 23 male, does drugs when with his friends. I don't know how to stop him. I've been with my boyfriend for a year. I knew he used to do drugs, but only found out after dating him that he still does these drugs when he visits a particular friend. My boyfriend, otherwise, does not do drugs. He has said, and I can verify it, that he never allowed drugs into his home space and so never feels the need for them there. But when he goes out to party, which is maybe every 2 months, he will do cocaine and other drugs. I've said to him that I hate it, and he said and has never brought drugs around me. So I put it out of my mind, but when he tells me that he has specifically done cocaine, it just makes me want to cry, because I know in the past he's has an overdose where he was lying in a street, in horrible pain, and his friends didn't call an ambulance because of the substances. He's told me he will eventually stop doing it when we settle down. But I just can't handle these moments, like tonight, when he is going out with this drug friend. I mean, he did go from doing it every week at uni, to now, not so much, so I don't doubt one day he will quit. I've tried talking to him about it, saying I need him here and don't want him to die. I've told him that fine, how about whatever you do, I'll do, no serious of course, to which he has said I'm never ever allowed to do any sort of drug because he wants me safe. I just don't know what to do at this point and need advice. Edit, he and I both knew that I wasn't seriously considering doing drugs. He knows I hate them with a passion. And it was me putting into perspective how I feel when the person I love is putting themselves in harm's way. And he admitted he wouldn't ever let me do something so dangerous. At this point, I feel like he thinks he's immune to death, that since his overdose didn't kill him, he can survive it all. What to do about female friend who prohibits me from working with certain people. I've, 36 female, had a friend, 32 female, for the last few years who has been upsetting me more and more with her increasingly narcissistic behavior. We both work in the entertainment industry, in different fields, and we met when this friend hired me to work on a project she was overseeing. We grew close pretty fast, but some troubling behaviors emerged. My friend had a falling out with 2 other people in positions of power who were co-directing the project with her. She subsequently made it clear to me that she would be very upset if I ever worked with those people in the future, even though I was on neutral terms with those people. I want to add that neither person did anything egregious to my friend. I actually thought her reaction was overblown, but I never told her this because I knew it would upset her. Since then, both people have reached out to try to hire me for other work, which I've turned down even though I really wanted to take the jobs and needed the money and connections. This came to a head recently when the director of another project I had been attached to for years came to me and told me they had a meeting with one of these people and were thinking of hiring them. I told my friend this and she said, "You're going to leave the project, right?" She put me on the spot and I told her if they ended up bringing this person on, I would leave the project. I remember thinking to myself, this is getting really terrible and manipulative and I shouldn't have agreed to that. Finally, this past week, one of the 2 people my friend had a falling out with emailed me about a really great project that could have given my career the boost it needs. I didn't tell my friend about it but ultimately turned it down, making a schedule excuse, because I knew if she found out about my working on it, she would go crazy. I don't know what to do at this point. She also hasn't done much to help my career, despite the fact that I worked tirelessly on her project for years for almost no money, and she even made a passive-aggressive comment recently when I mentioned I was thinking of reaching out to someone that she has a second-hand connection to. So it's really shitty that she's constricting what work I do outside her. But I'm afraid of her. She did something absolutely terrible to another woman who she felt had crossed her, tried to ruin this woman's career and talks shit about this woman to anyone who will listen. And it worked. I 100% know she will do the same to me if I fall out of line. She will not only tell everyone she knows that I'm evil for working with her ex-colleagues, but she will tell them never to work with me too, and they will probably comply out of fear. Also, my credits link me to this friend forever, so whenever people see that she hired me on something, they will ask her how it was working with me. My friend is only growing more powerful in the industry and now knows a lot of people. Meanwhile, I'm much less powerful and still trying to get my footing. I don't know many people, and I also struggle with autism, so socializing and building connections is very difficult for me. These two ex-colleagues I'm barred from working with are incredibly connected in my scene and are pretty much unavoidable. Either they reach out to me about projects or they come on to projects I'm already a part of. I'm not saying every project has some connection to them, but their name keeps coming up. I do not know either of these people well enough to tell them about what's been going on, and if I do, they may decide I'm connected to too much drama and want to keep their distance from me. What recourse do I have? We are all freelancers in this industry, so there isn't any HR person I can go to. I've considered confronting my friend about it and saying gently that I feel uncomfortable being told who I can and can't work with, but I know that she will see me broaching this as an act of betrayal too, and it's risky because it may have almost the same effect as me actually working with these people. Torn down postpartum wife. I, 29F, have had a recent traumatic experience with my husband, 32. Throughout our 8.5-year relationship, he has struggled to show any interest in or intimacy. There will be a couple months when things are great, and then there will be for 5 months where things are terrible. Never wants to be intimate with me or wants to show how much I mean to him until it's bad. This has wreaked havoc on my mental health throughout the years. I struggled with the feeling that I'm constantly not enough, which I have worked on in therapy. The beginning of COVID, we took the time to focus on our relationship and things got really great for an entire year. I thought that everything was behind us, which led to us trying to have a baby, something he's wanted for years. We finally got pregnant, and about 6 months into pregnancy he started pulling away slowly again. We had her child from an emergency C-section, so she came a month earlier than anticipated. We definitely were under a lot of stress of learning how to be parents for the first time, along with excruciating breastfeeding schedule. During my span of being postpartum, he pulled away completely. Wanted nothing to do with me and only sat on his phone every night. I tried playing games, anything to interact, but nothing was successful. He tried to be intimate with me 2 times over a 2.5-month span. My sexual drive has been completely decreased because of breastfeeding, normal reaction, so I haven't been interested. Few weeks ago he decided he was going to have a guys' night, which yes, I encourage because we've had a baby and haven't been able to do much. He was supposed to go to dinner and go bowling, but bowling at work out, so they went to play pool. Around 1 o'clock in the morning he still wasn't home, so I said make sure not to drink and drive and went back to sleep. Our baby started crying around 3 o'clock in the morning and he still was not home. I started getting really worried because he was not answering my calls or returning any of my texts. His phone location stated it was still at the pool hall. I started checking inmate page, the news channels, police scanners to make sure something happened to him. Or maybe start crying. At 5:15 I got her out of her crib and calmed down and laid her down on me, and he still wasn't home at this point. I finally get her back to sleep and I go back to sleep for a little bit and she wakes up around 6:50. At this point I got a text message from him apologizing that he's such a big piece of shit and he was at the strip club all night. Backstory: a strip club with him, it's not something that I've been comfortable with because he has past history with strippers. We have had multiple conversations about this. Turns out he spent some of our mortgage payment at the strip club, got private dancers and groped women all night. When he returned home I told him to get out of the house and he said, well, you're not giving me any, so. He has now came clean to me yesterday and stated he did it because I wasn't giving him affection that he supposedly needed, so he went elsewhere to get it. I feel completely betrayed and completely broken. I grew our child and my body has been overworking nonstop for months. He has begged every single day for things to go back to normal and keeps expressing how sorry he is and how he's finally realizes how much she wants to be with me and have our family. I honestly don't know if it's something I can get over. I just need some viewpoints from others who aren't involved in the situation. 25 female/28 male. My husband puts work above his family and couples therapy isn't helping. We are recently married and have a toddler together. We both work in the same field, but within different departments and at different locations. His work has always been an issue for us. For example, last year I desperately wanted him to move to a closer location because he was commuting hellish distances. It was making childcare very difficult. I was lonely, and also he had history with several women there, that he had lied to me about previously. Long story short, he was a hard no on that one and was fairly rude about it. He said he liked his colleagues and liked working there and refused to move. This has meant I am essentially doing all of the childcare despite being a working mum myself, as he is commuting so far. He has made it clear he views him doing any parenting as helping and should be thanked for it. He cares a lot about what people think of him and is definitely a people pleaser at work. I know this has been an issue in previous relationships as he puts excess amounts of importance on how he is viewed to others. I maybe used to be a bit of a people pleaser, but since becoming a mom my worldview has shifted a fair bit and I won't tolerate bullshit. Anyway, He is constantly late. He just does not seem to care, and more than that tells me I should just suck it up and expect it, and I'm ridiculous for ever thinking that maybe he should make more of an attempt to leave on time. Today he missed our couples therapy session because he was late. Evidently he forgot it was even happening. He definitely could have asked someone else to do the jobs he was staying late for. His attitude to it really bothered me. He said it didn't matter that he forgot, that he would have been late anyway, so what? So he didn't care about inconveniencing me, the therapist, the babysitter I had booked. He said he forgot because he was so busy at work and that was to be expected. And then blamed me for even booking the session on that day because he's usually late on Fridays. He clearly didn't give a crap, and worse than that, didn't even feel slightly sorry that I was sat there alone with the therapist apologizing on his behalf. He constantly tells me I'm the issue, that he'll always be late. I've tried explaining a million times it's not just him being late but how it makes me feel and his attitude to it, like why can't he at least be a little sorry? But he just acts like I'm some unreasonable crazy who freaks out whenever he's a minute late. It's usually more like 1.5 to 2 hours. I'm just at my wit's end. Couples therapy doesn't seem to be helping with it because he just doesn't listen to me. I don't even know if this will change, and I don't know what to do. We're meant to be trying for a second child, and I'm seriously doubting it's a good idea.